All right, and welcome to another episode of the Comics Brew and Chew podcast. Today is another one of our movie specials that we are not entitled to, where we'll be talking about probably the weakest Marvel superhero movie to come out in the last few years, Captain Marvel.
Fred's gonna get punched now?
Probably.
What, he said it wasn't a big movie?
I said it was the weakest movie to come out of the Marvel roster lately.
Okay, alright.
It's actually
Didn't realize you weren't a lead-up Battle Angel fan.
It's not actually my opinion. I just want to see how fast Amanda would throw something at me, especially seeing how she's already a little tweaked as it is.
just to jump in really quick, as of the day we're recording this, so the episode will be out in a day or two, but as of today, by the end of this 24-hour span, it's poised to hit $1 billion.
It's April 2nd.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're closer to the second Captain Marvel movie that's coming out this year than we are to the first one we're recording this, which we also need to... I'll at least see that one, if I don't know if you guys want to. But I'm a big fan of that, but Captain Marvel as well. Not saying I like it better or worse, just also I'm a big Zach Levi guy. But before we get started, we are chewing on Tim Tams per usual, Snickers if anybody wants them, and Chips Ahoy cookies because I saw an open package on my counter at home, so I decided to pick some up at work. We are sipping on Seagram's Escapes, Jamaican Me Happies, and Down East
Cider.
Cider, the regular cider,
Just their regular cider.
the good one.
It's a local Bostonian, Massachusetts, probably...
It's wicked good beer.
Imagine you wouldn't get it outside of Mass, Connecticut, Rhode Island, maybe even as far up as Maine or New Hampshire, Vermont, but
Doubtful in New York.
it is a very good cider if you happen to live in the area.
Or as some of us say, wicked good.
Wicked good.
Wicked good cider.
Wicked good cider guy. Watch the socks go yard.
Sipping on a few of these.
Oh, that is good.
The winter blend's even better.
Oh,
It is
fuck
long.
yeah.
It is long off the shelves.
Yeah, the winter one is good.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have a summer one I'm very excited for.
What's the summer one? I haven't had that.
I want to say it's like a berry.
Okay.
I'll find it. But we'll vamp about Captain Marvel and then we'll get back to
Yeah,
alcohol.
this is now a beer podcast.
the real reason for us drinking, for being here.
I mean, we're not wrong.
Yeah.
So Fred, your podcast, lead it off.
Not according to the group chat.
Amanda, your podcast, lead us
I'll
off.
lead it off today.
Good, because you've seen the movie like 6 times. You're probably the only
It's
one.
only been 4.
You're probably the only one here that knows this movie.
I think I know it by heart already. So, this small movie was mostly based off of the DeConnick run.
Okay. DeConnick? Is that
DeConnick.
Kelly Sue DeConnick.
obviously the author.
Who
I don't know.
actually was in the film, too.
Oh, she was the one she passes in the train station,
Yes.
right?
The woman with the red
Red
hair.
hair.
Yeah,
Oh shit, I missed that.
Down East Summer is Aloha Friday. Perfect balance of tropical juiciness and tartness. Pineapple-infused cider will have you feeling like you're cruising down the coastline and headed for the beach.
That's all good.
Fuck yeah.
I'm very excited for that one.
All right, so Captain Marvel is the story of Carol Danvers, a human who is lost in space, belonging now with the Kree Empire. Usually in the comic books, they're douchebags. In the movie, they're douchebags.
What a shock.
I know. They are in a constant struggle against the Skrull in the comics. Also douchebags. In the movie, more sympathetic douchebags. It's kind of weird they changed that. Not a big fan personally, but that's because I'm like a purist in that regard for the Skrull.
So I actually, I
There he
haven't
goes.
read a ton with the Skrull, but the one thing that I have vivid memories of was the Abnett and Lanning Guardians run. And the first arc, what was the big Marvel crossover in like 2008, 9-ish that dealt with Skrulls? Was it like...
Secret Invasion?
That, yeah. It was a tie-in to that event, and it dealt with some Skrulls that are let loose in the Guardians' base camp on Nowhere, and it's ultimately revealed that they're Skrull refugees that the Guardians wind up helping to kind of pass through rather than exterminating like they do with the usual Skrull. And when I kind of put the pieces together, I thought, alright, the Kree are kind of shitty people. I figured that was the direction they were going to go with the Skrull here. I was a little shocked when they made it seem like you said like that was the whole race and not like a little like pocket refugee clan.
But I mean, in the comics, there's also a longer storied history of the Skrull.
Yep.
Like, they're assholes that take over other planets. There's the whole Kree Skrull war that like they never get into, which I've heard. I've seen the plot synopsis for that comic. it is hot garbage.
Yeah.
It's pretty much one group is sad that the other, like, mad that they lost a science experiment contest and the other group won. So now they're beefing, like, over the universes and stuff. And, like, the Kree are not good people, but they're usually the side you go with because, like, there are some notable Kree people and they look like us. Whereas the Skrull can actually look like us because they have the ability to transform. In the comics, Galactus eats their planet. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, there's no Galactus. So, like, it got Death Starred or something.
Now that the Fox acquisition is complete.
Yeah, but they already own Disney, so Death Star is the better example.
You said, just you making the comment about the Kree looking like us.
Yes.
How often do we get Kree of... when Guardians first came out, I figured Kree were blue.
I had the same question.
I did not know that Korath was a Kree. I thought he was just some other random race that was one of Roman's henchmen.
See, in the comics, the Kree are pretty much all blue, and then there's, like, some white Kree. It's kind of like the Martians in DC, where there's a green and there's white Martians.
White Martians are the scary ones.
Yes. Well, I mean, can you blame them?
Wow, sounds like Earth.
It does sound like Earth. But in Marvel, they're mostly blue, and then there's, like, the occasional white ones that they need to have to blend in on Earth, and instead of just explaining why they don't look blue and, like, join the Blue Man Group, they are white, and that's just the thing. In the movies, they kind of changed it up where they make it like the Kree, because it's an empire. Yeah. Like, there will be people of other races, like, species, races, whatever you want to call it. But if you look at it as, like, kind of like the Roman Empire, yeah, they'll get, like, people from the surrounding areas to join their army, but the bulk of their forces will still be, like, Kree-focused.
Yeah, but they had blue blood.
Yeah.
White skin.
They're just biologically Kree in the film.
It's just weird.
Maybe it's just like a skin tone thing. Like, humans have different skin tone, Kree have different skin tone.
It's either that or...
They just happen to be blue and white.
White, and black.
It was either that or, like, it was just easier to have people's natural skin tones come through, or they saw the preview for Aladdin and decided that blue skin isn't a thing to do, and they just stuck with it.
Minerva was blue.
Right, that might just...
And what was the big guy with the beard? That was part of Star Force?
I don't remember his name.
Fucking Tormund?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tormund.
Him and
Space
Minerva
Tormund.
were blue. Carol, I get, she was from Earth.
Yeah.
But she didn't know that, and she didn't look at her skin and think, hey, I'm not Kree, because there's a lot of other...
Because Jude Law is also white.
And then
Jude Law is, like,
black.
the whitest guy in that movie, outside of Coulson.
I gotta say, though, usually I can't stand Jude Law, and I loved him in this.
Oh, yeah, he was a great human being.
Yeah,
well, I don't mean
he was a
that,
great asshole.
That first fight scene, not the fight scene, but the practice
The training
sparring session.
I loved.
My personal favorite, them dropping onto that planet at the beginning.
That was so cool.
I have one complaint.
And I get
this.
your gripe with that.
I don't like... So, they, like, you see them enter, they go in the water, and then they're all, like, in the water going by the camera. And the camera does a stop, slow motion... pause on Carol in, like, her traditional helmet with the mohawk, and it like pauses and goes slow-mo, and she's practically looking at the camera. I hated that.
So I'm gonna say this, and when Amanda and I did our recent MCU rewatch to prep for Endgame, I was making note of this as well. Every single MCU film has at least one really, really bad slow-mo shot. At least one. Like, thinking in Infinity War, on Titan, when Thanos uses this blast from the gauntlet to knock the Guardians
and they
down.
Stop in midair.
Yeah, like,
that's
that
a bad
looks
shot.
really bad.
It's jarring.
There's at least one in the middle of a really cool scene in every single MCU.
I remember the one from First Avenger. It's they like kick down the door and Cap's like using the pistol, and it's just slow motion. It's like
in Winter
There's one that
Soldier
didn't have
when
one.
Cap is falling from the damaged helicarrier. I didn't really care for that one.
Yeah, I mean that one.
It was better, but it
That
wasn't.
one's a good part.
I did like in Civil War when they did the slow-mo Cap and Tony going at it.
Yeah.
That one I liked.
I think, what was it? In Age of Ultron, I think that one was almost okay. It's when they were all fighting the Ultrons in the middle of the city.
Well, that's like
That
that
one-
is like the ensemble shot.
I
I'm
like
fine
that-
with that being slow
That
motion.
one looked like a comic panel.
Yeah.
And I was cool with that one.
But yeah, I liked them being like the SEAL team type shit,
Yeah.
where they're coming out of the water and stuff, and they look very military, but they also had the very sci-fi route because everybody's like blaster pistols.
I loved the weapon design. Those blasters were so cool.
They
I
were
liked
very
Merle's
like
rifle.
they were very like to me. They felt very classic sci-fi.
Yeah,
especially
like-
because they're like these tiny little
Yeah,
round.
but they're like
pistols.
pew.
Yeah.
It made sense when Minerva picks up a Super Soaker or a Nerf gun or whatever it was and
It was a
thinks
Nerf
it's another blaster.
The
Like, they fit that kind of aesthetic.
going back to that slow-mo shot, like, if they had just taken that out and,
Yep.
like, had been a blur,
Yeah.
when she came out of the water and you see her in that,
Yeah.
like, that would have been a much better, like,
Yeah.
remember this from the comic books, everybody? Look! But
like
instead
that
it was, like,
they-
slow motion, and they're, like, punching you in the face with it, like,
They
There
did
it
that
is.
same
You like it?
Peter Quill, like, hologram tech
Yeah.
for that, which I thought was cool.
So
I just really quick, I did some reading about that planet. I forget what it's called, but I guess in the comics that planet is a source of vibranium.
yes.
Might be.
I've read that same thing.
So I mean, not saying it's necessarily a thing, but the meteor that hit Earth could very well have, you know, come from there and landed in Wakanda.
I know Space Wakanda's their thing right now. Wakandans. But see, the bigger on the nose thing for like, hey, this looks like the comic book that you remember. When she's doing like the color palette thing on the
Yeah.
costume,
Oh,
and she
the
does
classic suits.
she does the classic suit. She does the green and white that everybody's losing their minds over. Oh, her suit doesn't look the right colors. It's green and stuff, and her color is supposed to be... Yeah, numbnuts. She fucking got the right costume at the end of the movie. Y'all bitched for
I
nothing.
liked that a lot. I
What?
liked how she had the Kree colors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
it
did
made
too.
sense, but everybody that was like a true fan checking out the trailers and stuff was like, she's not wearing the right costume. The onset photos of when she's still a Kree have her in a Kree uniform.
can I still be proud of myself here that I avoided those trailers?
Oh,
Good
fuck,
for
I
you,
lost your
man.
magazine.
And then, so no.
I gotta go find it at work.
It's
So
probably still somewhere.
we're sitting in the theater waiting for the movie
think
to
Mark
come
has
on,
it.
and they played the trailer.
Did they?
I flew out of the.
They played
theater.
for the trailer for the movie at the
But,
movie.
you know, before the
Oh.
actual trailers
Yeah.
kick off, when they're just doing like the commercials.
That's
Yeah.
really weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, go see this movie you already bought the ticket to. Yeah, I don't know. I find that I wish I could avoid trailers.
Yeah.
I know people can do it. I just can't.
I've avoided all the Game of Thrones ones so far.
I was going.
I did it for Blade Runner 2049 in 2017.
I was gonna avoid all the trailers for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then the first one dropped, and I was like, yeah, well, just one.
Just one.
And now we're like 3 deep.
And then like the TV promos go, and I hit play, and I just go, here I go again.
I want to go on about the Endgame spot that came out today.
I
but
didn't
End of
see
the
it.
episode.
Oh my god!
I haven't
Speaking
seen
of Endgame, it just outsold
I saw that.
The Force Awakens
In its first hour.
6 hours.
In its first hour, it did triple what Infinity War did in its first hour.
All right.
I hope this is the biggest
Carol.
movie of all time. But back to Carol Danvers or Veers because they can't
Veers.
read
That
for
is the
shit.
other thing that bothered me. What the heck?
Veers.
I mean, it was cool though.
And like, it was such an obvious like.
Yeah.
I
But
felt like an idiot when I was like, why do they
Yeah.
call them their Veers? And then I'm like, oh, they can't read.
Yeah, and at the end when they showed the, I was like, oh shit.
It's
that-
because they get that half
Yeah.
the dog tag.
I like the fact that they Monica Rambeau plays such a major part in the movie
Yeah.
because of like who she was post the original Marvel Captain Marvel, because like everybody jumps from like the white dude to the white chick and forgets that there was like 2 or 3 other people in the middle that were Captain Marvel, one of which was an African American woman
And
who
she's-
still exists in the comics.
And now, given that, you know, when we catch up with Captain Marvel again in Endgame and, you know, presumably future sequels, it's almost 30 years later,
Yeah.
she could potentially be the right age to be, you know, Photon or Captain Marvel or
Lieutenant
whatever
Trouble.
they want.
Lieutenant Trouble.
That little girl though would have made the perfect Riri.
Yeah, I
She
was
would've.
gonna say. I keep wondering who they're gonna, if they're gonna bring in Riri Williams.
I still think they might just do this weird kind of amalgamation of characters and give Shuri an Iron Man-esque
Yeah.
Panther.
Iron Panther.
I could see it.
Fucking
I wonder if the
the
next
Panther
Avengers movie
gauntlets.
would be New
Repulsors.
Avengers.
I see either New Avengers or West
Young-
Coast or like
Oh,
whatever
let's
not
title
talk about
they
this.
want to give it.
Let's not make me angry.
Whatever title they want to give it, that's definitely the
Oh.
direction. Especially with the talk of like a Vision and Scarlet Witch Disney Plus show would probably set up their kids and
Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. Let's keep on topic. Thank you.
So,
Yeah, right,
the
Tom,
big
on
twist
topic.
to the movie is that the Skrulls
Oh my god.
aren't bad guys,
What?
which I liked a lot.
Yeah, I loved that,
It was
honestly.
because like I hated the whole like who's a Skrull? Who's a Skrull? Someone's a Skrull. Rhodey's gonna be a Skrull. Someone's gonna be a Skrull, and just like and like now they completely wiped this whole paranoia away because honestly it was starting to take away from Endgame because the whole time you watch Endgame you're like who's gonna be the Skrull? Who's gonna be the Skrull?
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do anything with that in Endgame. I think we're gonna start seeing evil Skrulls popping up for sure, but it's not gonna be an Endgame thing.
And
it's gonna be a scattered throughout the future thing.
Yeah, I almost felt like there was setup because Talos' daughter
Yeah.
sees him straight up murk some Kree.
Yeah.
And it's like, she doesn't react the way a child should react to seeing
Yeah.
someone die. She's
But-
like, wow,
But that's also a child who's grown up in the middle of warfare.
my dad is Ben
in a
Mendelsohn
room.
and just killed somebody.
It was nice seeing Ben,
Ben
Mendelsohn
Mendelsohn,
play a good guy.
Yeah, like, I remember it being in the theater, and when he's, like, over the corpse, I'm like, I nudged my friend, I'm like, there's the bad guy. And he's like, how do you know? I'm like, it's Ben Mendelsohn, come on. Have you not seen any movies he's been in the past 5 years? Rogue One, bad guy. Batman Dark Knight Rises, bad guy.
Ready Player One.
That one, I forgot.
Yeah.
Bad guy. Like,
That's because
Come
we
on.
all liked pretend that didn't
Hey,
which one?
Ready Player One.
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't like that.
I was talking to our boss about it today.
Yuck.
He saw it last night.
Yuck.
He said he almost enjoyed it.
Anyways, but, like, you know, I feel like maybe they'll set her up as, what, the Queen Skrull?
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
Oh, yeah. Skull
So-
Empress.
Maybe they'll do that, and then we'll get Super Skrull.
And
Down
they
the
have
line.
Super Skrull now through the Fox thing.
Yeah,
They do.
they don't have to worry about like
Not gonna lie, though.
negotiating deals.
Super Skrull is fucking lame. And do you know who hates Super Skrull? The rest of the Skrull.
Yeah.
Oh, he has the Fantastic Four's abilities, right?
Wow, what a cool list of powers to have.
I can turn invisible, I can stretch, I can light on fire, or I can turn into a rock.
I hate the Fantastic
I
Four.
see. The Fantastic
Low key,
Four
I
are
just
cool.
don't like them. I don't like their
But
powers.
you
I don't like
need
their
to-
stupid little car. I don't like their Ford bullshit. I hate everything about the Fantastic Four.
But I can turn into a rock.
And I can't turn back. Except it is cool on his behalf, only because I've looked at it from another angle. Ben Grimm is Jewish, which makes him the embodiment of the golem.
Yeah, he's a golem.
Which is
Yeah.
cool because that's a Jewish concept.
Yeah.
That's the only neat thing about the thing.
Fred knows.
Fred knows. Hell yeah.
But I'm trying to think of like I enjoyed the movie a lot, and then I saw it a second time and liked it a lot better the second time.
Well, I'm on the fourth.
Yeah.
So.
Another gripe I have. I mean, I've only mentioned things I didn't like. I feel like I didn't like I'm Just a Girl during that fight scene.
Oh, come on.
I am with John on this one.
It was a little less jarring the second time, and I think I have some negative like psychosis, if that's the right word, with
I'd
that
love to
song.
doubt.
So
Oh.
here's the thing: is
I don't.
that
Okay.
song plays at the establishment me and Fred works at, and when you've been there for 7 years and you hear the
Okay.
song at least 5 times a week,
At least.
you start to just have a bad like.
Okay.
My thing is, I'm not a fan of Gwen Stefani. I saw her on The Voice a couple years ago, and she was talking about, oh, there's this little known genre of music called ska that my band used to play, and I went, no, you didn't, and you left that band entirely, and they still kind of perform a little bit, and you forget that they exist. So, I just don't consider
I'm not
No
a
Doubt.
fan of her, but I like this song.
Her voice drives me up.
Oh
the
my
wall.
god.
It's
Is there more
like,
beer?
if you wanted to torture me with music, you could just have like Gwen Stefani just like sing obnoxiously, and I'd crack in like a minute. I'd be like, oh God, please.
this
While we're on
This
the
podcast
movie-
is just going to be like, shit we hate, and then Captain Marvel was good.
While we're on the 90s isms,
I love that soundtrack.
de-aged Nick Fury was like so
one said
uncanny
They're getting,
in how
like-
perfect it was. Like, it's scary.
Disney
how
is getting
good they're
scary good
getting
at this.
that.
In a few years, they're going to be able to remake Star Wars with the original actors.
Yeah.
Like,
Almost all of them.
no, they don't. I mean, fuck, they don't even need them at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they did Peter Cushing. I mean, he looked like he was out of a video game.
Yeah,
but
he looked like a wax man.
I
but-
still, yeah, like, I mean, Fury looked fantastic
see.
here.
I felt like in Rogue One, I feel like Peter Cushing looked better than Leia.
Yeah, I think Leia looked better, but
Leia looked like a porcelain doll
yeah,
to me.
so
and
did
Peter
Cushing.
Peter Cushing looked. I think it was just like he's got more features on his
Yeah.
face to take away from like
Yeah.
add more of the uncanny valley. But
So, can we talk about the best part of the movie?
the cat,
Yes.
yeah, I just love the whole Fury interaction. This hardest one.
It's funny.
Cool name for a cool cat.
It's funny because I mean I haven't read the Draconic stuff. I know you have, but the cat is so like part of Carol's thing in the comics, and she doesn't interact with the cat at all in the movie. It's Fury.
Yeah, it was just cool to see Fury again, especially finally see him be a spy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like when he used the fingerprint.
Budapest.
Budapest. That goes with his whole. I love how
name.
he mentions a bunch of B's. Like what do he say? He says Budapest, Bangladesh, Bangkok, and something else. I was watching Winter Soldier the other day.
Yeah.
And him and Alexander Pierce were in Bogota.
And
it's like.
Was it in Bogota that he saved Pierce's daughter
Yes.
and got the promotion?
That's where he saved her.
So gotta wonder. So at this point, it's like 4 years after Howard is dead.
Yeah.
I don't know who's running S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point. It could be Peggy running it solo, or there could have been someone else kind of in that in between.
What year is beginning of Ant-Man?
Beginning of Ant-Man is 89, so 2 years before Howard dies. And as of 89, Howard and Peggy are still co-running S.H.I.E.L.D.
And it looks like there is a council because we get that. What's his name? The Hydra dude.
Yep.
And yeah.
So they're not really specific about whether Peggy is running S.H.I.E.L.D. or if she stepped down after Howard's death.
Yeah.
I mean, there had to have been somebody between Howard and Peggy and Fury starting.
If there was anyone between, they never explained what actually happened to what's his name, the guy Talos was impersonating.
Fury's boss there.
Yeah.
Also played by Ben Mendelsohn.
He probably wasn't a, like.
Yeah,
Okay.
like, I didn't take Fury's boss as meaning, like, director. I just took it as whatever Fury's division that he was currently in was.
Yeah.
But you also think back to Iron Man 2. At this point, so Howard is dead, but we know that Howard and Fury knew each other. So Fury had been involved for a while at this point, because when Fury drops off that box of Howard's, stuff to Tony's house.
It's almost like
got the shield in
Fury
it.
is Coulson at this point. Because
Yeah.
Coulson was always the first one to go, like,
Yeah.
meet Iron Man, meet Thor,
Yeah.
Cap and all this stuff. So maybe, like, that's the role he's playing.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the movie, maybe he's a little further along because he's already talking about the Avengers Initiative. And
I really liked Avenger coming from her call sign there.
How lucky are we that it's not the cheeseburger initiative?
yeah, wasn't that her call sign in
Yeah.
the comics as Cheeseburger?
cheeseburgers.
I thought that was fun at the end.
I just like the fact that in the movie, S.H.I.E.L.D. feels more like kind of like, especially taking place in the 90s, it feels like a Men in Black organization more than it does like...
In something like Winter Soldier, where it's like real world espionage.
Yeah, where it feels like it's just another branch of the U.S. government, which is weird because like that's definitely a direction they took it in the comics because originally S.H.I.E.L.D. was like, hey, we're more of this like UN peacekeeping like overarching task force that's like on its own powers, and then like one dude in another like I think it was Millar, I think in like an alternate universe was like, so like S.H.I.E.L.D. is part of the government, right? And then in the mainline universe they're like, yeah, totally. S.H.I.E.L.D. just, like, works for the president. So, like, that's going to be a thing now. And then I don't even know if S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of still exists in the comics. It's weird because of, like, Hydra and shit and, like, Captain Nazi and crap. Captain Nazi's a DC character, but Captain Hydra.
Because they brought Cap back as Hydra or some bullshit recently, right?
Yeah, and that's over with. That's run, I heard, was not great, and that you needed to actually read the Captain America books to know what was going on in the overarching event. But...
that sounds bad.
Back to Captain Marvel.
Back to Captain Marvel.
It was cool to see a lot of, like, Project Pegasus, which we then see in Avengers, right?
It's the same facility.
And he even mentions is it in Iron Man 2?
It's written in the notebooks with Howard.
Well, no, he asks Jarvis to get him all the relevant data from Project Pegasus, Goliath, and I don't remember the other one. We've seen Project
Pegasus and Goliath now.
Was in Ant-Man 2. And then we've seen Pegasus, and I feel like we've seen the other one too in some capacity.
I don't remember what the other one was, but Pegasus is also really interesting because we know now from Captain Marvel and Avengers that the Pegasus program was centered around the Tesseract. Right. The Tesseract has changed hands more than literally anything in the MCU at this point.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see Tony have referenced it in the past because study of the Tesseract helped kind of inform the arc reactor studying that went on at that point, and it gave a very good reason to get the Tesseract there in this story. And a lot of people are like, oh, Captain Marvel's gonna swoop in and, destroy Thanos and blah,
No,
blah,
same,
blah.
man.
But there's a lot of people that, the Captain Marvel boycotting crew, that's one of their big things. And, I mean, what did we see with everyone who was powered by an Infinity Stone when they went up against Thanos? He was able to snap it right back at them. And
They got
her
jobbed.
power is derived from the Tesseract. So she's this all-powerful being, yeah, but what is the Gauntlet against that? I mean, what is that against the Gauntlet? And bringing up the Tesseract in that regard, it was a really interesting twist on the classic, like, an update on her origin. And one thing that we didn't touch on at all is the original Marvel, being a Kree that came down to Earth, infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D., and became part of Project Pegasus to basically assist the Skrull refugees. So what were you going to say about that?
So she, in the Taconic run, Carol's taking care of her because she has cancer. And, if only we were talking about Death of today, too.
So incorporate it.
No,
Hey, yo, John, Captain Marvel dies in the comics.
What?
spoiler alert.
Good thing I didn't read the title.
John's not caught up
I
yet.
was honestly really confused when you gave me that book, by the way, because it's like...
It's like thick.
It's just the end.
It's just the end thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why am I reading Iron Man? Why is Drax here? Why is he dressed like a circus
Didn't I tell you it was the
performer?
last one?
No, you didn't. You said it was one volume. I figured that out pretty quick when I was
Oh, my
reading
bad.
Iron Man.
I thought I told... I know I had told somebody it was the last issue. I thought I told you. Hey, John, it's the last
Why
issue.
did you
You're
make
good.
the announcement?
Does anybody here listen to me?
I
Yeah.
do.
Oh, thank you.
So what you're saying is they took original male Marvel and someone from
Yeah.
the Iconic Run and merged
Yep.
them.
Which I think was awesome. That was just a really cool twist to it. I mean, Carol has a ton of origin stories, it seems like. Because she's got the new runs, insert my eye roll here, where she is Kar-El.
Oh, and she's like biologically
Yes.
half Kree
With
or
the
something.
Stole
and-
run, which is something else. And then there's the Draconic run, where I don't remember exactly how she... It's more like the movie. And then there's also the run where Marvel saves her in a blast in space, and she ends up with her powers.
And then there's all the old shit where she used to run with the X-Men, and she had like some of those powers then too.
And
it
she was
weird.
Ms. Marvel at that point, right?
Yeah, she was Miss Marvel, and then she was Binary, and then she was because she went like crazy in like Dark Phoenix before Dark Phoenix was a
Okay,
thing.
so
I think
that explains why people were referencing Binary
Yeah.
with her, like...
when she was glowy and
Yeah.
shit and like going Super Saiyan.
Yep.
That's Binary.
Okay.
Binary, she like, but she was like
And
Binary
now
for a
this
while.
This is just like way off, like way down the line speculation, but in Death of Captain Marvel, his cancer comes from an explosion that he took the full brunt of.
He took the explosion from a character called Nitro.
Yeah. I wonder, because in the Avengers they mention that the Tesseract emits gamma radiation.
Right.
I wonder, like, they could, in theory, not saying they're ever going to do this, but if they wanted to down the line, they have the perfect in now to loosely adapt Death of Captain Marvel with Carol in the original Marvel's place. And they could say that this explosion that gave her her powers has also slowly been killing her.
Because he gets like weird space cancer.
Yeah.
Where, like, and then they figure out the cure for Kree cancer.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, we can cure you. Oh, no, actually, your superpowers mutated your Kree cancer.
Yeah.
And now, like,
But,
that won't work.
like-
What?
Yeah.
It like they gave themselves a very good in if they wanted to take this classic pre-Carol Danvers Captain Marvel story and apply it to her.
I also like the fact they didn't do that whole cancer storyline, and they were literally like, so, like, there was the old where there was Marvel, and she died because she got blown up.
Yeah.
And it's a transfusion of Kree blood that
Yeah.
you are now part Kree.
Do you guys remember, like, way back in Iron Man, in Ultron, in Age of Ultron, Nick Fury mentions that a ship crashes in the Indian Ocean when they're trying to find Hulk after he leaves.
Yeah.
And I remember people thinking that was Captain Marvel.
Well, because Joss Whedon originally wanted to just include Captain Marvel out of nowhere in that new Avengers lineup
And Peter, right?
Yeah.
I think they weren't far enough along with the rights on Spider-Man
Was
to do
that-
that.
Well, he
but-
wanted to do both of them.
Yeah.
Was
and
that the
would
end
have
of,
been so at the end of Ultron when Cap
When there
in
is that they're in the hangar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember those rumors that the rumors where Spider-Man would swing in and Captain Marvel was supposed to float down at the same time.
And it's just like you use the characters that are in your own.
Can you imagine how
damn
lame
movie.
that would have fucking been?
Yeah.
Right? Imagine you say lame now.
Imagine you've just seen Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
A very disappointing sequel.
Right.
And all of a sudden, at the end, without any explanation, comes Spider-Man,
Yeah.
a character we didn't know was coming,
Yeah.
and Captain Marvel, a character who we didn't have confirmation she was coming
We knew
till.
she was because they did the whole big Phase 3 announcement before Ultron hit.
Right, yeah,
But-
because they had already announced Civil War.
Same
Right.
point in time, though. Can you imagine how stupid hyped you like now knowing how bad Ultron was as a movie compared to everything else? Even knowing then how bad it was, but not knowing how good Spider-Man
Phase
and Captain
3,
Marvel would be
yeah.
now. They just show up. People would still lose their minds.
But then you bring them in the same movie, and it's like, where the hell were these guys 15 minutes ago when Ultron was?
Well, Peter was probably doing homework, because
Yeah.
he can't go to Sokovia. He has homework.
And Carol was out in space.
Yeah.
Like it's all you'd have to do is set the ending of that movie like
That
a little
would've
further
been-
on.
That would have been, though, doing it like that out of nowhere would have been exactly what DC was trying to do.
Yeah.
Is just rush and give
Still,
us all of the characters.
They still would have had probably 6 years of film development on top of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As
but these
opposed to
two characters came out of nowhere.
yeah. Same point in time when they dropped Spider-Man in Civil War, Spider-Man came out of nowhere.
Yeah, but
But
like...
he at least got introduced in the body of the film, and it wasn't just the end
Yeah.
scene. Oh, by the way, here's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now that song's stuck in my head.
Which one?
The one that plays when they're introducing Peter.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, I know this. I don't know the name of it, but I know what it sounds like. And I was going to be stuck in my head, too.
Sorry.
I'm good.
These
cookies smell amazing.
So, Captain Marvel, one of my favorite scenes is the scene where the guy on the motorcycle pulls up next to her.
Oh, that's such a good scene.
That scene is so Terminator 2. There's so much of the movie that actually felt so Terminator
But no,
2 to me.
that is the most realistic scene.
Come on, give me a smile. And she's like... I was not expecting her to steal the bike. I was expecting her to, like, throw it. Like,
Nah, that's Captain America's thing. Every motorcycle he gets, he throws at the bad guys.
Yeah, not gonna lie, I was expecting her to like deck him.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, there were leaked set pictures of, like, a physical confrontation between the two with her, like, pinning him to the ground that they must have cut.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring it up. I don't know how nobody else has brought this up so far. The fucking highlight scene, well, not the highlight scene, but like the scene they played over and over again. I know you didn't see this. And to get people hyped for the movie was the subway. The tram scene.
Yeah.
Fucking Stanley's cameo where he's reading the Mallrats script. Oh my god. Second to that, the tribute at the start of the movie.
Oh, God.
That was so good.
So I remember seeing it.
Ross.
I saw it with my little sister the second time. And when that played, she was like, oh, no. Like... It's just like, oh, God. I just remember, like, the theater was just so, like...
There was because I saw it opening night with Amanda, and that people actually cheered after that, and that was the one time, because that usually drives me nuts
I'm really
in the
glad
theater.
one dude clapped when we saw it.
Yeah.
Like, one dude clapped, and our buddy James went, please stop, and the guy just stopped right away.
I mean, usually, like, if you're clapping during the movie, like, if, like, a superhero, like, comes in and, like, hits the bad guy and people clap,
No, I hate that kind of clapping.
Yeah.
No, like, don't do it. But, like, if it's, like, a monument, like, a dedication thing before the movie even starts, like, that's not part of the movie. That's part of the pre-roll.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just like...
It's not like it immediately dropped into, like, important information you need to know
Like,
about Carol.
I can understand. Like, you want to cheer. Like, you're so happy.
I'm not saying,
And I
like,
just, you know...
you need to have, like, a ruckus going. But, like, there were a couple of people that clapped in my theater, and I was cool with it because it was, like, it wasn't, like, hooting and hollering and stuff. It was just an irreverent, like, clap done as soon as the movie, like, seconds later.
There was... I don't remember what movie it was. There was one Marvel movie where someone shows up and, so, like, whoever I was seeing it with, someone... Not who I was seeing it with, but someone in the theater went fucking apeshit.
What about the reactions at the end of Endgame? I mean, Endgame.
Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Oh, like people like.
When
I remember our theater being quiet as a tomb.
Ours was, but there was a lot of like gasps.
Yeah.
It was Panther, Groot, and Spider-Man that got them.
So going back to, I saw Civil War in IMAX like a week after it came out, and I'm sitting there with Noah and James, two of our friends, and Rhodey's like falling after Vision blasts his core, and he hits the ground, and the row behind us were like, there were all these like, a whole row of chicks, and they all just like gasped and went, oh no. And James looked at me, goes, did they not see the trailers? Like, we saw him falling in the trailers, and like, and it's just like, not Rhodey. Like, granted, Rhodey's like cool character, but like, why, they were like, oh, and I was like, he's alright.
And he's okay. But yeah, like the
I mean, granted, I maybe would have cried if it was Terrence Howard.
Yeah.
That fall knocked the math right out of him.
They're gonna go so far back in time in Endgame that it's gonna be Terrence
Could you
Howard.
imagine?
Edward Norton.
I love that. Like, who are you? It's me. It's Rose. And he's just like,
Speaking of,
We've gone back in time.
we've gone back too far.
it's gonna be Josh Dallas as Vandroll, and
That would be.
I was just thinking today with the time travel element that's probably gonna be a thing in Endgame. There's still one last shot now for Captain America to pick up Mjolnir.
Yeah, there is.
before he dies.
Or there's a chance to go back in time.
What if Thor goes back in time and they're in the Battle of New York and he calls Mjolnir to him, and then the Thor, like the current existing Thor from Avengers 1 can't use the hammer because it's just gone?
Or he
and
comes,
then you have Thor fighting Thanos with two hammers.
That would be dope because there is a book. I kind of want to do it, see if you guys would be interested. There's a 2-part Thor story where he gets 2 Mjolnirs because he time travels with one of himself.
Okay, I mean, that'd be cool. He just like shows up to Thanos and he's like, I brought
It's
a hammer
Jason
and
Aaron.
an axe.
It's the second volume of Jason Aaron's original run on Thor.
Oh, I've read that.
God Bomb.
Yeah. The God Butcher and God Bomb stuff is so good.
When he has the God Butcher armor and he's got the 2 Mjolnirs. Oh man.
Yeah,
but,
because I've read up to volume 3 of that run.
Volume 3 is awful. But
the Malekith one. Yeah.
Oh god, and they got the
Christopher Eccleston?
It came out right around the time Dark World did. So
and the League of Realms.
Yeah, that one wasn't as good. But those first
Thor 2.
Those first 2 volumes were so good.
Oh yeah. Dude, Assad Ribick's doing the art for it. Ooh. But no. Thor can go back in time and they can recast Jane Foster. Then you kill Chris Hemsworth Thor or make him unworthy, and you do Jane Foster Thor for the next couple movies. That would be dope. And then you get the War of Realms that's coming out right now.
I mean,
comics.
if I can see anyone coming back, it's Chris Hemsworth. He's not doing
he's
much.
especially he's
Star
so
Trek
excited
got canceled.
about the role again after Ragnarok totally revamped the character.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him come back. But at the same point in time, to do some of the Jason Aaron stuff with Jane Foster Thor would be amazing because her stories with the hammer are incredible because she can do stuff that he can't.
Maybe it's time to start discussing Endgame and stuff.
Do we want to transition and do a little Endgame epilogue at the end of this?
Yeah, we'll do a quick Endgame speculation.
So as far as Captain Marvel goes, just go see it.
Yeah, and
Yes,
as far
that's
as
all.
Captain Marvel goes, real cool new suit in the Endgame footage. I like her new suit. I think I like
Nice
it even
transition.
more than the Captain Marvel one. It's a lot
Oh.
shinier. It has like the gold shoulders. The star is a lot different. And it just looks like really cool with the other characters.
But to some of Captain Marvel, if you were expecting a very like, they gotta stop all the shape-shifting bad guys, like it's not that at all.
And actually, on that note, it's very, very, very similar. Like, not like tone and not style, but just in terms of the intention of what it's going for. It's a lot like Winter Soldier from Bucky's perspective with her. Where the whole thing in Winter Soldier with Bucky was, Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. The S.H.I.E.L.D., or he's with the bad guys thinking that he's doing the right thing, being mind controlled, and has to kind of break free of those shackles, and they kind of do that with Carol here.
But it's a good story. She's an important hero to have moving forward. I mean, granted, we've had female heroes before, like Elektra and Halle Berry's Catwoman.
Oh boy!
And Harley Quinn from the hit movie Suicide
Harley
Squad.
Quinn, and we had Wonder Woman.
The Emmy Award-winning Suicide Squad.
But something just feels different about this one in
Yeah.
terms of other ones.
It feels real, and there was no love interest subplot. Okay, I'm not
It-
gonna
Yeah,
get
that,
started here.
It's
I
the-
was very
Wait,
pleased with
get
that.
started now. We've only had the whole podcast for you to get started.
No, it's just that. Like, what the heck?
All right, so
There's one scene that I really like, and it's her breakout scene when the scrub.
Oh, that
Oh,
is
yeah.
so fun.
That scene to me is so, especially when like the big dude comes through the
She's
door.
gonna find your boots.
Yeah, I love when the big dude comes through the door and she punches him a few times and he like snarls and growls at her and she snarls and growls right back. At that point, I was like, I like this character.
Yeah, and
I love
think
it.
that too. I think that's the best directed action scene in the film.
Like-
Like as far as like hand to hand action goes.
It's
And then like her trying to like get those stupid things off her. There's one scene where she's holding one like, and it's like the one on her right arm and she's holding it across her chest, and I was just like, my God. She would be the perfect Samus Aran for a live action Metroid
Did you see
movie.
the cosplay?
She
did for
dressed up
Halloween
as
last
Samus.
year as Samus.
Oh my God! And I know like I always forget his name. Jordan Vogt Roberts.
The guy that did Kong.
Kong.
Yeah.
He said he would love to do a Metroid movie,
Yep.
and then she like I think they interacted about
Well,
it
yeah, 'cause
too.
she was in Kong.
And
yeah.
I doubt it would ever happen, but my fucking God, that is my dream to have a Metroid movie with those two.
just to say something about the movie, the fact that yes, the action was great. Brie Larson played a solid Carol. The fact that they did a female hero who is a strong, independent white woman who don't need no man, and didn't usually beat that over your head. There's once or twice where they were like really straightforward about like, hey, girls can be strong too. Like that flashback thing where she gets up after crashing, gets up
Yeah.
off the bike. Like there were some moments, and I'll give the movie that because like sometimes you need to just be that blunt with your messaging.
Yeah, you do. It's
But, like-
important.
There are idiots out there. who
Yeah.
are like,
It's important to
Yeah.
do that for people.
No, it is, and especially for like. And then I sat there and I realized, hey, I'm a 23-year-old guy and I have a penis. Like I don't. This movie isn't necessarily directed at me
It really
sometimes.
isn't.
So like, I need to get over that, and I immediately
wait,
did.
You mean on that basis you're not gonna boycott it?
Clearly not seeing how I went by myself to go see the movie, but yeah, like it was. There was some messaging like that I was like, like you could see kind of like the cracks in the armor when it was trying to do the direct messaging, but I was also like, there are probably, excuse me, young girls in this theater that is going to be a critical moment for them watching this
Yeah.
movie,
And,
I don't want to take that away from anybody.
What really makes me upset is that I haven't. Maybe I'm just not exposed as much, but do you guys remember after like Suicide Squad, you were seeing a lot of like,
Harley Quinn.
yeah, like I need to find the Joker in my Harley Quinn, or like he was crazy, or he was her
my
queen, and
God.
like there was so much of that like people idolizing that relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel like
yeah.
hopefully I haven't seen it because I'm like not overly exposed on like social media anymore, and I haven't seen people like idolizing Captain Marvel. But like, fuck, man, like
No one's idolizing Captain Marvel, but then again, everybody takes the Joker Harley relationship the wrong way
Yeah, they take it as
because no one realizes that he's a manipulative and abusive
But
towards her.
that's because the film also didn't take it the right way.
Right, and it's also because before the movie was even out, they were selling slutty Harley Quinn cosplays because all it was a pair of booty shorts and a crop top.
Yeah.
Like, Captain Marvel's costume is a legit costume that would cover up your ass and tits, and those are the things that girls don't want to wear to Halloween parties to get guys.
So we were walking the other day near the school, near an elementary school.
So that is where should put like an asterisk or something on this conversation.
what are you guys doing by there, huh?
Yeah.
You bring all your camera equipment.
But-
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
trying to sell crack to kids again, Tom.
Yep.
But I have a Captain Marvel jacket, and you can tell it's Captain Marvel. And we're walking by, and one little girl stops me, and she goes, "I love your jacket." It was the sweetest thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Just as a PSA for this podcast, though, do not hang out outside of elementary schools. It does not bode well for most people.
No.
The
Keyword
fact that-
there was walking by.
The
not
fact that
hanging
most of
out
the
at.
the fact that most of the elementary schoolers are almost as tall as Amanda probably helps.
Yeah,
Might
I
have
was
been a
dropping
little bit
Amanda
taller
off
than
at school.
Yeah, everybody probably
Why
thought
are you new here? I've never seen you here before.
everybody probably thought Tom was Amanda's dad, but like,
I'm dropping her off for her first day.
I
And
mean, granted, I had on my Captain Marvel sneakers and my t-shirt underneath. So,
but yeah,
if she sucks down juice boxes like she puts back, you're making me happy. So we got an issue.
So you didn't watch the Endgame footage today, right?
I have
Fred?
not. Well,
Are
I've
you
been
going
at
to,
work.
or
Probably.
Okay.
So wait a second. Can we watch it now? It's a minute long.
I just like to say the stinger at the end of Captain Marvel, where it's actually the tie-in for Endgame.
That's probably footage from Endgame.
It's-
What
yeah.
they
Sure
did
is.
with Ant-Man and
Yeah.
Civil War.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I think someone said that the Russos had originally considered doing a love interest between Thor and Captain Marvel, but I think I had heard that they decided to cut it.
Gross.
No, I mean it could be cool. They're both perfect. They're super cocky. So
Okay, so I guess Fred is watching the footage.
I am watching the footage.
This is the thing that's going on right now. Oh, I get goosebumps.
it's an emotional sucker punch.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
We're the Avengers.
Oof.
We gotta finish this. You trust me?
You guys are getting first-hand reactions here.
Oh, that shot.
And they have their ship.
Live with your own failure.
It's the bar.
Where did that bring you?
This is the first time we hear Thanos talk in any Endgame anything, right?
Back to me.
Yeah.
All right. So, wait, there's more.
No, there's nothing after
No,
the
there's-
title.
On sale now.
Okay.
But
So, you're gonna sit there and tell me that they have the Trinity walking at the end of that trailer? Oh, that
towards Thanos.
towards Thanos.
Thanos.
No, that Iron Man costume is the original from the comics.
Also, he was on Mark 50 in Infinity War. The toy leaks, well, the toys are officially out now. I think this is like 80 now.
58.
I thought it was 80 something.
Wait.
85. It's 85.
Wait,
yeah.
85.
So there's been 30 something suits, and
So we're getting post Avengers 1 PTSD riddled Tony
Yeah.
building suits for everything again, which I love because
Yeah.
Iron Man 3, one of my personal favorite films in the entire
I
MCU.
agree. I agree completely.
I know people don't like the Mandarin twist, but that
I
movie
adore-
connects with me so much. I love
I
it.
agree. It's I always have a hard time picking between Iron Man and Iron Man 3 is my favorite Iron Man, and then it always goes to
See,
3.
Iron Man 1 I know is like probably the better movie,
Yeah.
but in my head, Iron Man 3 gets so many bonus points for
Oh, yeah.
all the fucking suits. And that's
My
my,
one
favorite
thing
thing
with the
about
suits-
Iron Man.
I don't remember getting a good glimpse of my favorite suit, the orbital one. The orbital suit is so cool.
No,
The
I don't
white
think you
one.
see it.
Iron Man 3 is next in my binge tonight.
See, I watched Iron Man 1 the other day, and then I put in my copy of Hulk, generously donated by Tom, and my my Xbox One, which I use as my primary DVD player, said something about anti-piracy protection,
Weird.
saying that I couldn't watch the movie. I was like, neat. So I throw in
Iron Man 2?
I couldn't find my copy of Iron Man 2, so I threw in the first Avenger.
Yeah.
Same thing. What is it, HDCP? Something like that.
Yeah.
Couldn't watch it. And then I
So
haven't
it's got to
tried.
be with the early DVDs then, because it was First Avenger a DVD you put in or a Blu-ray?
Yeah.
DVD, because I know I gave you a Hulk DVD when I
Yeah.
bought a Blu-ray copy.
Yeah, see, I think I'm gonna try and upgrade my entire collection to
Yeah.
Blu-ray digital at some point.
Yeah.
Because fuck, digital movies are so fucking convenient,
Yeah.
man. I like having them, but at
Yeah.
the same time, the fact that like, I can honestly on my phone right now just go and start up a movie.
Yeah.
On like, I know Ultraviolet's shutting down.
Yeah,
Kind of
they,
unrelated.
movies now are coming with a new service code called Movies Anywhere.
That's
Yeah.
Movies Anywhere. I believe is Microsoft.
Okay, well that's what most new releases have
But-
instead of Ultraviolet.
Movies Anywhere is fucking awesome.
Martian.
Yep. I've got a lot of Marvel movies on there. Pretty much almost all Marvel. And then like Godzilla,
I saw your one.
Batman Year One. I got that with one of the Batman games.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to Endgame. That scene of Tony and Steve. Spoilers, by the way.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do you trust me?" And they shake hands. Like,
I'm wondering too if that might be 2012 New York.
yeah, I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think they would have shown us the actual reuniting of those two.
That's not no. I was shocked they showed us them together anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not,
but
because we all kind of know that
well,
Tony
yeah,
gets back to Earth.
but that's gonna be a great moment, and I really, really loved the moment with Rocket and Nebula.
It's very Guardians 1-esque,
Yeah.
where it's Drax and You were gonna say that?
That's where I was
Yeah.
going.
Where
Yeah.
they take each
Maybe
other's
at-
hand and they're
Maybe at some point,
crying
like the
and-
Marvel expert in the room should talk.
Oh no, I just get talked over the whole time.
Go.
No, I love that clip. That Okay, and I'm sorry, I have to be the girl in the room for a minute though. Renner? What the hell?
There's a tattoo.
Oh.
Oh.
Well, he lost his family. I'm assuming.
Tattoos,
He loses
You
family.
lose your family, you chop off, the hair on the sides of your head, and you
No,
get
no.
tattoos.
The hair
You're
was
like, "Oh, man,
a hair
I'm
was
just
a
gonna be
victim of the
tattooed
snap.
now."
Perfectly balanced. He took off some of the sides.
I liked the memes that it was his barber got snapped. He was in the middle of getting a haircut and his barber got caught in the snap.
And he's just like,
Yeah, I'm keeping it. I don't know how to cut hair.
he pulled out his katana. And he's like, I'm just gonna
He,
kill some
he was
Yakuza.
he was trying to pull out he couldn't do it with an arrow. He was like,
He's doing trick shots. He's like bouncing them. They're just taking like stripes off at a time, and he's just like, I'm just
this
gonna.
this is getting this is too much work.
But yeah, oh man, that trailer. When Tony's looking at the picture of him and Peter,
Yeah.
how dare they?
Dude, I liked
and Peter holding the Stark internship diploma upside
That was like you're sitting there and Marvel was just like, and they like low blowed
The-
you, they hit you in the gut, and
and
you're
then the
sitting
fact
there
that
like
they
holding your gut, and then they show Cap and Tony, and that was just them like punching you in the head, like ha ha.
Also,
ha, ha, ha,
they
ha.
they show Tony, he's standing in the bar from the We Have a Hulk scene.
Yeah. Speaking of Spider-Man, Joe Russo, I think it was in an interview a day or two ago.
He pretty much confirmed that Spider-Man has at least a scene.
Well, not that. It was, he said he doesn't think that a Stan Lee cameo was ever filmed for Far From Home, so that would mean that Endgame is his
the
last one. But he also didn't seem like he was 100% sure, because he's obviously not hands-on with the Far From Home production.
I mean, they could always just use like a picture of him
Yeah.
or something. I'm sure moving forward we'll get Stan Lee cameos.
Yeah. Like in
Because they filmed a shit ton for
they did
Ant-Man, right?
No, James Gunn filmed like 3 of them back to back, but those have been used. I think he shot the Guardians 2, I want to say Homecoming, and I think Ragnarok.
Mhm.
Because that was when Stan Lee was starting to get ill, and they knocked a few out in a day, and like they brought him to the Guardians 2 set and filmed a few like that.
Yeah.
I like the fact that he calls Stormbringer past her head.
Yep.
That was dope.
Yeah.
But no, I feel like if they do Stan Lee cameos, they might do like what they do in the Marvel TV shows, where they
a
just
picture.
have like just the "We Want You" for the New York Police Department.
Yeah.
That would be awesome if those are floating around in New York when they go back in time, and people are just like, so they were there the whole time. And also talking about Captain Marvel and the TV shows and stuff, the Kree blood healing Carol is the same shit they do. I know in one of the seasons of Agents of
That's
Shield.
how they
yeah.
explain
Bring
the
Coulson back.
resurrection of Coulson as
Yeah.
Kree blood.
It's I will say
And then it went
in
off the
regards
rails.
to
Yeah.
TV, it's gonna be really
The Inhumans.
nice starting with Loki to get Marvel TV that's actually supervised by Kevin Feige and actually connected to the MCU.
Right.
Yeah. We all know
But
how
Marvel,
we,
hire me, please.
we all know
Thanks.
how we feel about the Netflix Marvel stuff. We
Right.
talked about
Yeah.
that in
But
detail.
they
Be
want
sure to watch if you missed it.
or listen because we don't really do watching
That's
stuff.
true.
But
Watch the screen.
yeah, we know you want to do video. Blah
I'm
blah blah
just
blah blah.
saying.
But they want to do a Who the Fuck Are They movie.
Eternals.
Eternals.
So-
That's a bad idea.
And then they're doing what's his
I'm-
name? Lou. He's a martial artist.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Yeah.
yeah.
I've seen now. Here's the thing with Eternals. I don't know a thing about the Eternals,
Hey, you know the Inhumans?
but
Dumber.
But I like the idea of
You know the New Gods?
of a space
Dumber.
set thing that
They're not in
takes
space.
place over a long period of time.
They're on Earth. They're
I
the
don't know.
pre-Inhuman Inhumans.
Well, there's talk that they're gonna integrate Hercules into the
yeah,
Eternals.
that's the only thing I want to see. But then you take Hercules, you kick him out of the Eternals, you stop doing the Eternals. I don't care if Angelina Jolie says yes or not. And then
Now
you have
they're looking at Priyanka. What's her name? Priyanka Chopra now too, supposedly.
so then you just
I
take
think
Hercules
so.
and you put him in a Thor movie and you have them kick the crap out of each other like they've done a dozen times in the comics. But then you can do the more modern Hercules where he has like his cudgel and he has an M16 with a grenade launcher underneath and he's fighting monsters in New York City. And then you got fucking Gilgamesh as his roommate and Beowulf shows up at one point and it's fucking ridiculous and it's great. I like the mythical characters in Marvel.
I see, but now, so yeah, I don't know. Then just as far as Endgame, to backtrack back there a little bit,
Backtracking.
I love the way they've advertised it. Like, you don't know anything about this story from any of the 2 trailers, that little preview from today, and the Super Bowl commercial.
Well, I think the real thing is the fact that they don't own any of the characters that were essential to ending the book.
Yeah.
So nobody knows how they're ending it.
I mean, they have Adam Warlock, but they're not they set him up for, the future.
But Adam Warlock is a narcissistic asshole and he's stupid.
He's really interesting when he goes full Magus.
Which I'm assuming what they'll do with him in Guardians.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I really like, but just as far as the way they've advertised in a really interesting way. I love that second trailer was flashbacks to, Iron Man, Thor, and Cap movies with, old Peggy voiceover.
Maybe they shouldn't have used Thor 1 and 2, though, because that's a sour taste.
I like the first Thor a lot.
I like all the Thors. I'm not saying 2 is any good. I just have a soft
2
spot
was
for it.
so bad.
2 was so bad.
I think-
bad.
But I got
Like,
the art
with-
book for it. It's really cool.
With 1, I love the Shakespearean stuff. Like, that's one of the things that I associate with Thor. So it's fun to get that in a film. And I think 2 did an okay job with the Thor and Loki stuff.
Didn't you order like 3 copies of Thor 2 off Amazon and they kept sending you Thor 1?
It was or
was
it was eBay. I got
Fred just kept getting the wrong Thor movie. I think by the end of it you had 3 copies of Thor 1 or something.
No, I'm good. I think I evened out.
Evened out.
I just remember you being like
each.
you had like it was the case for one movie and you opened up
and it was the other
wrong
movie
disc.
inside.
And then the same thing happened but reversed.
Yeah, so
It's like-
I think I ended up with an even number of movies, but it was just the fact. No, I think I did have to buy a new movie because I bought Thor 1 and Thor 2 came in it. And then I bought Thor 2 and Thor 2 came in it. So I had to go buy Thor 1 again. And I already owned a Thor 3 because I bought that the day it came out.
And I think you gave me a digital code for Thor 1.
You asked for a lot of digital codes for your sister?
Well, yeah, I was like, I need digital codes, guys, and my friends donated.
Yes. And I was like, I got all these other movies, and you're like, she won't be interested. I was like, oh, okay, I'll go find people to give it to.
Yeah.
Like I sent.
Oh, they changed the cover art for Avengers Infinity War.
Is
on
it
my
the
movies.
matching one now?
Yeah, it's the one with like the stripe and then the
Yeah.
characters.
So they've done that for everything up to Infinity War then. No Ant-Man and the Wasp yet, and no...
Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Unless
Yeah.
it's just not updated on the app.
Maybe, because I've seen the Guardians 2 one in stores. And I've seen even Incredible Hulk, Universal put that one out. And Homecoming, Sony put that one out. Although the
No,
Homecoming
Ant-Man and the
one...
Wasp has it too.
Oh, does it? I don't think the Ant-Man and the Wasp one physically is in stores yet, but they have it online like that. The Spider-Man physical one bothers me because it's the only one that doesn't say the phase on the spine.
Yeah. That's right, yeah, it doesn't say that. But to wrap this up, put a bow on it.
It's we enjoyed Captain Marvel. Maybe.
We enjoyed Captain Marvel quite a bit.
Quite
It's
a bit.
a very good movie.
I'm ready for time number 5.
One of my friends wants to see it, and because he didn't see it with us the first time, and he was like, "You want to go see it with me?" I'm like, "Give me a few weeks, maybe." But yeah, I'll probably end up going seeing it with it. Endgame, very excited. Tickets went on sale. It already outsold The Force Awakens, as we previously mentioned. Maybe moving forward as we get closer to Infinity War, and I know Tom and Amanda are catching up on the MCU. I'm in the process of catching up on the MCU. Maybe we try and do like a phase.
You're done.
Maybe we try and do like a phase podcast for each phase, like 1, 2, and 3. And then, obviously, we'll do our endgame one if we can stitch together a coherent sentence through babbling and tears. All I know is it's going to be a tough weekend to be named Stark. A very tough weekend to be named Stark.
Battle at Winterfell.
Fuck, man.
Wait, that's that week?
It's the
Battle
same
of
week.
Winterfell, same week as Endgame.
Fuck you guys.
It is just...
So I will start actually I have a $50 gift card for the liquor store, so we're good for that weekend.
I'm going to start real early, man. I already told everyone, not to go on a tangent to Game of Thrones, but I already told everyone, like, if anything happens to Arya, I'm walking out of the house. I won't be seen in my weakest.
I see it in Davos. My boy Davos.
I will be a brutal mess if Arya doesn't
Guys,
make
I'm
it.
still not going to be okay from Cat dying.
I know, right? Like, we're all going to be, like, super emotional. Like, we're going to be, like, weak.
So Monday, after you get out of work, because we'll all be back at work on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So Monday night, we're just gonna get together and just
That's gonna be my morning. Yeah, I'm gonna be mourning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have like a widow thing.
See, I'd say I'd call
We'll all
out,
be in black.
but I know I can't call out that Monday because our boss watches Game of Thrones, and he's gonna call out that Monday.
We're all gonna call out that Monday. It's gonna be like
We'll just
That's
call
gonna
ourselves
be
the
rough.
overnight crew.
the morning Monday. That's gonna be bad.
But,
anyways,
yeah.
thanks for listening, everyone. Subscribe, like,
Um,
share,
Instagram.
yep.
Instagram,
Comics
comment.
BNC.
Thank you.
Tell us how much we suck.
Oh, please do.
Any interaction is a good interaction.
We'll take it.
Yeah.
Beep.
Beep.
Beep. Every 15 minutes, the beep.
The beep.
Courtesy of Verizon. You guys are the boss.
The real sponsors.
Thank you for shutting off the internet at least once a week.
Gina.
But yeah, thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you.